12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
He was a stand-up guy. Everybody loved him. Just can't believe he's gone.
One man killed along with his best friend in a motorcycle crash. The search for answers coming up.
Plus, the controversy around Columbus Day leading to a shift in advertising. But first, they're just trying to live their lives in the midst of gunfire for some of them. Today, 3 people hit near South Cross and W.W. White Road by bullets.
It isn't the first time that police have been called out to the reserves at the Pecan Valley apartments. People living there say they've seen suspicious activity, but they fear speaking up could lead to their evictions. The Night Team's Patty Santos did some digging and found it's not just this apartment complex with problems. There have been several shootings in the surrounding area.
Tenants at the Reserve at Pecan Valley Apartments are on edge but not surprised about the triple shooting in their complex.
Oh, don't shock me because I hear gunfires all the time.
This afternoon, police were called about a shooting and found 2 men and a woman injured.
2 people in a bathroom. Suspect walks in, shoots both of them. As he's leaving the apartment, he shoots another person.
Police say it's not a random crime.
It appears that this was over nothing more than an argument. I don't know what the argument was about.
Off-camera residents say they're concerned about activity in their complex and neighborhood, but fear speaking up. KSAT tracked at least 4 shootings within a 1-mile radius of this apartment complex on East South Cross since June. 2 of those were deadly. This wasn't the first time police were called out to the reserve. In June, a man was found shot to death behind a dumpster on this property. District 3 staff urge any neighborhood with safety concerns, even if it's a private complex, to call 311 for help. The chief echoed the same message.
They can certainly reach out to the safe officers. They can reach out to my office. There's any number of places they can reach out to for if there's concern about that.
And district staff says with those phone calls, they can ensure that maybe a safety officer or code compliance shows up to address those safety concerns. Maybe it has to do with better lighting in the neighborhood or a broken fence that might be allowing crime to spill in. District 3 also says they're going to be pushing for funding for a police substation with upcoming bond money. Myra, Steve?
Thank you, Patty. It was the first clue that something was wrong. Neighbors coming across a truck that plowed into a fence. Police soon learned the driver inside that truck was shot and killed. The victim identified as 51-year-old Javier Nava Mendoza. Police called out to the scene on Hermine Boulevard, north of downtown, not far from I-10 and West Avenue. Officers are hoping surveillance video can help find the person who shot and killed Mendoza. A tremendous loss left them searching for answers. 2 families mourning the deaths of their loved ones after a motorcycle crash in Comal County. Their families have identified them as 27-year-old Jacob Morris and 28-year-old Hector Gonzalez. Tonight, Morris's family sat down with the Night Team's Japhanie Gray.
This happy little 1.5-year-old is Sophia. She doesn't realize it yet, but her daddy, 27-year-old Jacob Morris, will never kiss her goodnight again.
A social guy who would make friends with a stranger. If I ever had anything I needed, he was always there. I can't imagine going on without him.
Canyon Lake fire officials say just after 6 p.m. Friday, Jake and his best friend Hector Gonzalez were killed in a crash. They say that they both were riding their motorcycles along FM 306 in Comal County when somehow Gonzalez crashed head-on into a pickup truck while Jake and his bike slid several feet off the roadway. Both men died at the scene.
Life can change in the split of an eye like that.
Jake, the rock of his family, worked hard in the oil industry.
Even if I saw him for 5 minutes, it made my day.
His dream was to start his own family.
It took us 5 years to have Sophia. We had to have infertility treatments.
That blew me away how good of a father he was. I just looked at him like, wow.
When you look at her, all you see is Jacob.
According to the Texas Department of Transportation, in 2020, there were more than 7,400 motorcycle crashes. More than 480 of those resulted in death. That's up 17% compared to 2019, which only saw just over 400 motorcycle deaths. Jake's wife, Shannon Morris, says as they pray for the others involved in the crash, they hope his death raises awareness about ending this streak. She says she wants motorcyclists to be extra careful on the roads and for other drivers.
They say look twice, don't look twice, look 3, 4, 5 times. If you think you hear a bike, look.
Now, at last check, the 2 other people in the truck involved in the crash were taken to the hospital, one with life-threatening injuries. Investigators are still trying to figure out what led to the crash, but in the meantime, loved ones are planning a memorial motorcycle ride this Saturday through New Braunfels in honor of Jake and Hector. Daphne Gray, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Japhanie. Now to the pandemic here at home. Bexar County reporting 355 new COVID-19 cases each day the past week. 1 new COVID-related death now confirmed. In our hospitals, 452 COVID patients are hospitalized, 163 in the intensive care unit, and 82 people are on ventilators. Meanwhile, Governor Greg Abbott today reiterating that the COVID-19 vaccine is safe and effective. But in the same announcement, Abbott issued an executive order prohibiting vaccine mandates by any entity in order to keep the vaccine voluntary. He's also adding a ban on the COVID-19 vaccine requirements to the 3rd special legislative session agenda. Meantime, Senator Jose Menendez responding to the governor, saying in part, quote, "It is reckless for Governor Abbott to interfere with the liberty of business owners and school leaders to run their organizations in the way they feel is the safest." End quote. San Antonio ISD has required the vaccine for its employees with certain exemptions. It's also been the subject of a legal battle with the state. Meanwhile, the Biden administration in the process of creating COVID-19 vaccine requirements for companies with more than 100 employees. That federal mandate is expected to supersede the state order.
It's not a replacement for vaccines, but there is progress surrounding a pill that may help in the pandemic. Drug maker Merck hoping to get emergency authorization for its pill in just a few weeks. More than 700 patients participated in the Merck trial. None of them were vaccinated, but within 5 days of experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, they were given the new antiviral medication molnupiravir. After a month of treatment, just more than 7% of people receiving the drug were hospitalized, a potential alternative to that infusion therapy we hear so much about.
You know, if they're willing to seek out something that requires an IV infusion, I would expect that many of them would also consider an oral medication.
The medication would be used to treat the virus, but it would not become available until that data is reviewed by the FDA. Metro Health continues to provide free COVID-19 vaccine clinics to help keep people from getting severely sick with the virus. 3 clinics will be happening tomorrow. You can check out the list of clinics on your phone. Just log on to KSAT.com.
There is still a need in San Antonio for nurses and other healthcare workers. Baptist Health System still looking to fill positions. Registered nurses can receive a sign-on bonus of up to $25,000. They're holding a hiring event tomorrow at Mission Trail Baptist Hospital at Brooks. That's at 3333 Research Plaza from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have information about this right now on our website at KSAT.com.
What caused a 3rd straight day of delays and cancellations at Southwest Airlines? Some of those flights impacting people right here in San Antonio. The disruptions began after a pilots union asked a federal court to block the airline's COVID-19 vaccine requirement. The union saying this was not a staged sick out and clarifying that they are not against the vaccine, but want to negotiate the requirement because it could involve sick leave and disability benefits. Union President Casey Murray telling the Associated Press he blamed the days of flight disruptions on outdated crew scheduling technology.
It's unfortunate. I mean, you know, people got places to be. I don't get too much vacation time, so this is my first vacation in 3 years.
The Associated Press also reporting the airline's chief operating officer has said despite an aggressive hiring plan, Southwest still is in need of filling staffing positions, especially pilots. Southwest had also blamed bad weather and air traffic control problems, but the FAA pushing back, saying no air traffic staffing shortages have been reported since Friday.
Clouds are back as we're anticipating a shift in our weather pattern here. It was a beautiful day, but believe it or not, Tropical Storm Pamela, which is in the Pacific Ocean, about to become a hurricane, is going to move across the mountains of Mexico and actually maintain a center of low pressure as a tropical depression, bringing a lot of rain for areas around the KSAT 12 viewing area a little bit later this week, in the middle of the week. But now outside you can see that clouds are back. We had a beautiful beautiful sunny day. Those clouds ahead of an increase in humidity. It's currently in the 70s right now, and we won't see temperatures budge too much from where they're at right now. So what's up with the weather? Well, we've got a damp morning commute ahead in spots tomorrow morning, and that flooding risk I was just mentioning will occur a little bit later on this week. Pretty much starting from Tuesday night all the way through Thursday morning, there's going to be a risk for some heavy rain at times. And then a legitimate cold front arrives soon, allowing for a nice weekend. A lot to unpack in the forecast in just a few minutes. Steve?
Thank you, Sarah. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, a shift in celebrations. More recognizing today as Indigenous Peoples Day. And now retailers appear to reflect the change. That story coming up.
And a fiery crash in a California neighborhood. We're learning about one of the victims killed and hearing from a witness there on the scene. Next on the Nightbeat. A small plane smashing into two homes and a delivery truck. At least two people confirmed dead. That crash happening just outside of San Diego, California. Wreckage could be seen on fire with that thick plume of black smoke. UPS says one of their drivers is among those killed. The company saying in a statement they are, quote, heartbroken by the loss of our employee, end quote. Emergency teams stepping in to help get people to safety.
I ran over, saw the woman from the first house on the side of the street with burns, and then me and several other people ran over to the backyard and was able to get one other guy out from the house and get him to walk across the street.
The crash site a few miles north of Gillespie Field, a small San Diego County airport. Investigators initially said it was too early to tell how many people might have been on board that plane. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board now investigating.
The divide continues around today's federal holiday, and now it appears retailers are rethinking the way they market their fall deals. For many years, some retailers used the long weekend to promote Columbus Day sales. More of the country now recognizing the holiday as Indigenous Peoples Day, whose lives and culture were changed by colonialism. Katie Thomas, leader of the Kearney Consumer Institute, says retailers are updating their tactics in the way they advertise.
I think that they're making the right move by moving away from this with pretty low risk to themselves while trying to figure out what other values are more important to their core consumers.
President Joe Biden issuing a proclamation commemorating Indigenous Peoples Day. Here in San Antonio, Our Lady of the Lake University held events honoring the music, dance, and food of the native peoples in the Americas.
I'm here representing Kalpuli Ayolopaxing. It's a tribe of families that are reclaiming our indigenous lifeways. Our parents are immigrants from Mexico, from Michoacan.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg also recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day on Facebook, encouraging people to honor the people and traditions of the native communities that, quote, continue to shape San Antonio's culture and identity, end quote. Politics now, it's down to two candidates in the race for District 118. Republican John Lujan and Democrat Frank Ramirez are competing to fill the seat that covers part of the southern and eastern areas of Bexar County. Voters will decide on a new state representative on November 2nd. That means early voting starting next week on October 18th. The seat left vacant when former Representative Leo Pacheco took a job at San Antonio College.
Let's take a look outside. Tonight, Sky 12 flying high over Fiesta, Texas. Six Flags out near the Rim area. Beautiful night, beautiful lights out there. It was a gorgeous day, but we got some big changes.
It's been a long time since we've seen like that shot of it.
They're going.
And there you
That's
go.
Awesome.
How about that?
I think they've got the spooky Halloween stuff going on.
Fright Fest, I think they call it there.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a really nice shot, especially with the fireworks. I'm glad I interjected there and stalled it out so we could get the fireworks to Fiesta, Texas.
For sure. Now, speaking of Fiesta, Texas, later on this week, there might be some lightning delays for Fiesta, Texas, because we are anticipating some rain this week, and some of it could be heavy at times. But let's go ahead and take a look outside right now. You can see that the clouds are back. Today was a sunny day, but those clouds have returned as low-level moisture is slowly returning as well. The high temperature was 83. That's it. The low this morning, 60 degrees. And yeah, officially we saw more than an inch of rain at the airport last night as a front moved through and gave us this beautiful day today. But the humidity, as I mentioned, is on the rise. Dew points right now are comfortable in San Antonio in the 50s, but look toward the coast. Dew point near 80 degrees in Corpus Christi, near 70 in Victoria. This high humidity is going to be moving our way throughout the evening hours and in the overnight hours. By tomorrow morning, we're going to have a noticeably more humid weather pattern. In fact, by early tomorrow, we'll likely have some light rain and even drizzle in the area. So the morning commute could be damp in spots. You're going to want to check the radar before you head out tomorrow morning. You can do that, of course, through our KSAT Weather Authority app. But we do anticipate for the first part of the day, some light rain, maybe even some rumbles of thunder as well, and then more isolated in nature during the daytime tomorrow. It's tomorrow night that a short wave in the atmosphere will likely spark off some thunderstorms near the Rio Grande. This is at midnight tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. And then these are going to try to push to the east in the overnight hours so that by the start of the day on Wednesday, we also could have a damp commute. This one would have some rumbles of thunder and some pockets of heavy rain with it as well. But the main rain show for us across the KSAT 12 viewing area is mainly going to be Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But again, we could have some heavy rain before that, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So tomorrow morning, waking up at 73 degrees. Again, we're at 74 right now, so the temperature is not going to fall all that much. We'll have cloudy skies with a damp commute in spots and a 20 to 30% chance for isolated showers and storms. It's going to be breezy. It's going to be muggy. South winds at 10 to 20, gusting up to 25, 88 for the high. Then we'll turn our eyes to the west in the evening hours. Look at this potent upper level low. We've got snowfall across the Rockies right now. This is going to bring a front our way, which will move through eventually on Friday. But this upper level low, which would be potent by itself, is going to combine with moisture from tropical storm Pamela, expected to become a major hurricane at the time of landfall and maintain tropical depression as a tropical depression through the week. So here's what we've got going on in the futurecast. You can see that Pamela will be approaching at the same time that front is moving through central Texas, bringing some heavy rain, especially west of San Antonio, but including the San Antonio area Wednesday night into Thursday. When all is said and done through Thursday, there could be pockets of up to 6 inches of rain across the hill country and the Edwards Plateau. That would lead to some flooding issues. 1 to 2 inches of rain could lead to spotty flooding in the San Antonio metro area as well. But after that front moves through on Friday, easy weather for us, feeling a lot like fall. Mornings over the weekend will be in the 40s and 50s. Afternoons will be in the 70s. Real deal cold front headed our way.
That'll be nice. Thank you, Sarah.
All right, Luca, we hardly knew you.
Yeah, because, it just goes to show you how much the Spurs were dissatisfied with not only his development, but his play in this preseason to make him the first cut of this training camp. We're talking about Luka Samanic is gone. Yep, that's right, a former first-round draft pick. And John Gruden is out as a Raiders head coach. Coming up. With just one preseason game left this Friday, the Spurs made a major move today. They cut their former first-round draft pick, Luka Samanic, today after 2 years suiting up for the Spurs and the Austin Spurs. Samanic from Croatia was the 19th pick overall in the 2019 draft with a team guard heavy. It was somewhat surprising since he's a power forward, but that just shows you how much they're not happy with his play. By waiving him now, it does give the 21-year-old a chance to hook up with another team before the regular season tips off. Samanic played 36 games with the Silver and Black, averaging 3.8 points and 2.2 rebounds in almost 10 minutes of action. And for the Austin Spurs, just over 16 points and 8 rebounds in 39 games. Next up for the Spurs, their last preseason game, Friday against Houston.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
There is no question that the star of the Cowboys' 44-20 victory over the New York Giants was Dak Prescott, who's come full circle, if you will, from his season-ending ankle injury last year almost to the day. Now, Dak threw for 302 yards, 3 touchdowns, including a wide-open Ezekiel Elliott, who high-steps his way into the end zone, 1 of 2 for him on the day. But it's also the Dallas D who did their job. Giants starting quarterback Daniel Jones tried to score on this touchdown. He was met with linebacker Keanu Neal, but it was so forceful, as you can see, he was forced to lead the game with an obvious concussion when he he could barely walk. Trayvon Diggs is continuing to amaze us as he came up with his 6th interception on the season, having at least 1 interception in the first 5 games of the year. He told us how he did it.
When they get in formation like that, it's more so like play action pass, deeper routes, max protect. So, I had bailed and, I was reading my keys, seeing he ran a post route and then just made a play on the ball. I just seen him cornerback throw it. And then, from there I could judge where the ball's going to be, where the ball's going to be placed. So, I just made a play on the ball.
There you go. Rookie quarterback Davis Mills had the best game of the season, but it did not lead to a victory for the Houston Texans. Now dropped to 1-4 on the year. Mills threw for 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, and more importantly, no interceptions in the 25-22 loss to New England. For tight end Anthony Auclair, it was his first touchdown since he played for LaVar University in 2016, but he admitted today the play wasn't designed for him.
I was supposed to pick the guy that was covering Farrell, and so really that play was designed to throw to Farrell in the flat, right? And so I just saw nobody was covering me, so I just turned, and I hope that Davis saw the same thing, and he did. So we scored on that play.
All right, next up for the Colts, who play the Ravens tonight on Monday Night Football in Indy Sunday at noon. John Gruden is no longer the head football coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. That's after a series of emails uncovered contain misogynistic and homophobic language over several years to denigrate people around the game and to mock some of the league's changes, according to the New York Times, including women referees, the drafting of a gay player, and players protesting the national anthem. The UTSA Roadrunners are now 6-0 to start a season for the first time in school history, and quarterback Frank Harris was named the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week. It's after he threw for a career-high 349 yards, another school record 6 touchdowns, while catching another for 7 total on the night in the 52-46 victory over Western Kentucky in Bowling Green.
Frank has continued to get better. He understands the offense more and more each week. We've been together 22 months. Bailey's been running his offense for 4 years. So it just takes time.
The Roadrunners are now in first place in the West, and 2-0 Conference USA record would host 2-3 Rice this Saturday at 5 in the Alamo Dome on homecoming weekend. The big game and our big game coverage this Friday night. Next. The big game and our big game coverage is a showdown between the Titans of Southwest Legacy and the Dragons of Southwest High School to decide who takes over the lead in District 15-4A Division 1. Both are undefeated in district, with the Titans 5-1 overall, 2-0 in district, with wins over Medina Valley, Burbank, Del Rio, Laredo Martin, and Eagle Pass win, with their only loss to Floresville in Week 3, 44-41. For the Dragons, they dropped their first 2 games of the season against Central Catholic and Floresville, but reeling off 5 straight wins against South San, Medina Valley, Rio Grande City, with back-to-back shutouts of Laredo, Figueroa, and Southside. Now it all comes down to the Dragon Den on Friday night.
We grew up with them ever since we were 6th graders and stuff, so I think this is a big game for our community, because it just shows us that everybody sees us as the little sister, but the last 2 years we're what, 2-0 against those guys?
It's a rival game. There's just many things that could happen, and they're going to be their best game, we're going to be in ours, so it's going to be a very exciting game.
They're a good team. They've always been physical, but we just got to go out there and do our part.
We lost 2 in the beginning of the year, now we're winning 5 straight. It's good to go in district, trying to win a district title with 3 straight district wins.
You notice some of those games are kind of in the dark, or those interviews. That was because they practice at 6 o'clock in the morning over Southwest Legacy. Who wins the battle between the Titans and the Dragons start at 7 p.m. on Friday night, and KSAT Troll Sports would be there. I was not there. It was our photographer, Mark Mendez, who was out there.
They start at 6 in the morning with practice.
6 a.m., yes.
Wow.
They are better people than me.
We'll be right back.
Some showers to morning are possible, especially in the morning hours. South winds at 10 to 20, gusting up to 25. So it'll be breezy. And then overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, our first round of rain, and then a heavier round of rain Wednesday night into Thursday could lead to flooding. But a nice looking weekend behind our first real deal cold front. Mornings are cool. Afternoons will be comfortable.
Thank you, Sarah. GMSA at 4:30.
Have a good night.